That's how you do that.
Good afternoon, everybody, and I'd like to call the Health and Human Services Finance Division to order. Let's see, do we have a quorum? Maybe not yet, but we would like to get started because we have a full agenda today. And members, we're going to take the bills a little bit out of order. We're going to, with everybody's indulgence, we're going to allow Representative Noor to present his bill first because he has to be in another committee. So we're going to hear House File 399. And Representative Noor, please come to the table, and we will move the bill as soon as we get a quorum. And okay, we now have a quorum. So before we do that, can I get a motion to approve the
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative Hamilton. Representative Hamilton moves to approve the minutes of February 13th. Is there any discussion for the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion prevails and the minutes are approved. Thank you very much.
Hey.
So Representative Noor is going to move House File 399 that it be laid over for possible inclusion in the division bill. So Representative Noor, welcome to the committee. Is this your first bill presentation?
It's the first bill, yes, that I have in this
Wonderful.
committee, yes. And we have some treats coming around, and we're waiting for the page to bring the napkins.
Okay, well, Representative Noor, that wasn't why I was asking. but
And to make sure that we've got healthy, what do you call, treats. And,
oh, well, that is wonderful.
we'll get,
Thank you. Thank you very
But
much. But we're, we as members should know this, even though we have had this kind of thing about members bringing treats for the first time. That is not a rule. It is, we will give your bill full consideration. If you don't do that, we probably would, in many cases, maybe our health would be better if people didn't do it. But thank you for bringing healthy. I really appreciate that.
Appreciate it, Madam Chair.
So please go ahead and present your bill, Representative Noor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me to present the bill, although I was on the last on the agenda. This is House File 399, as the Chair mentioned. This is a bill we would like to lay it over for possible inclusion in the omnibus bill or the division bill. This is a request for resources to fund the foster care program at Hennepin County. As we are all aware of, there is a significant crisis in foster care system. And I was assuming there's also an amendment, which I haven't seen yet, which was supposed to be included today. Do we have that amendment?
Oh, no, Representative Noor, I don't think we have that. Is it a brief amendment? One that we could
It's
do?
a brief amendment, and I didn't bring the bill with me. The amendment was to include kinship in the foster care program.
Okay, well, Representative Noor, if you, do you want to, we can move an oral amendment to put that in if you like, if it's something that's small enough that we can just insert it here. Why don't you tell us, if you can, exactly what the amendment would be?
So the amendment is to add kinship after the foster care program, so that we're not only providing resources for the foster care program, but also for the kinship program.
Okay, so Representative Noor, you have to give us the line number and the exact word.
It's line
where it goes.
It's line 1.7. At the end, we will add and kinship. If the House Research can help us get the language correctly.
Okay, so Representative Noor, what I'm hearing you say is on line 1.7, after the end of the line, after the word foster, to insert the words and kinship. So that would read and promote family foster and kinship care recruitment models. Is that?
That's my oral amendment, but I just wanted to get the House
Okay,
Research.
and how?
Madam Chair, that would be correct.
That works. Okay, very good. So we can, I think we have to do that as a motion. So Representative Noor is moving that oral amendment. Did everybody get the amendment? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Thank you. The motion prevails, and that is added to the bill. So we took care of that. So Representative Noor, please go ahead and talk about the bill in the form that you wanted to have it.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the members. This is a request to provide resources for the foster care and kinship program to allow Hennepin County to recruit parents and families who will help the children who are in the system. As you're aware, Hennepin County has got the largest number of foster care kids. It's almost 1,700. And we know that the crisis that we're in. So this resource will provide help to recruit parents and families who will take in those kids who are looking for caring parents. So this is one step to include more culturally appropriate services at the county level and allow those kids who bring different cultural background to have access to someone who can really understand them about their background and their needs and be able to serve them well. And I'm here with Commissioner Mike Open from Hennepin County, who can provide us more detail about this program.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Welcome to the committee. Please introduce
Thank
yourself.
you. I had no idea. I've been here a lot of times. I've never been part of any treats sort of thing. So, and I'm not part, I understand. There probably aren't enough to go around, but it's interesting. I don't think we're going to start it on the county board, even though with 7 it would be a lot cheaper than. Again, thank you, Madam Chair. This is a timely bill to come up today. I am driving here from the Brookdale Library where I chaired our
And I'm sorry, please introduce.
I'm sorry,
yourself, correct?
I'm Mike Opad, Hennepin County Commissioner from District 1.
Thank you.
And as I mentioned, I'm coming from our Child Wellbeing Oversight Committee, a group that we've established. It's actually a second generation committee that concerns itself only with child protection, out-of-home placement, and with seeing to the reform of our system into one that concerns itself with child well-being in addition to child protection. So child well-being being much broader, much more preventive, much more on the front end. And it's made up of community members. It's a very impressive group, if I do say so myself. The Casey Foundation is a member. Their representatives fly in for each meeting, and they add invaluable information to us as we deal with this national crisis of child protection and child well-being. So we are partners in the state. There's this Assistant Commissioner, Nikki Farrago, sits on that. I hope I didn't promote her or demote her in that. I think that's her title, but she sits with it, as did Jim Koppel before her. And we've been in close alliance with DHS over work to reform foster care and child protection in Hennepin County. We know firsthand that while we're partners with the state, Minnesota has a very low investment, one of the lowest investments in child protection in the country. This leaves a significant burden on counties. In Hennepin County, 2 years ago, we hired more than 100 social workers in one board action. There's never been anything close to that before or since in my time on the board. And we've established the Child Protection Oversight Committee, now the Child Wellbeing Oversight Committee, to look at front-end activities and evaluate all manner of facets of child well-being. Today's meeting, we took up foster care. That's why it's particularly timely. And we spent a lot of time on kinship. And I'm no expert in this, but I guess I've become somewhat of one. We talked about we have researchers that sit on this committee too who talked about the fact that if a child is placed with kin, I'll get to that definition in a minute, there is more positive sense of self, there's less conflict, less stress, better mental health, and better education outcomes, as the research data has shown over many years. So what does kin mean? Obviously, intuitively, we would say, well, it's maybe an aunt and an uncle, maybe a grandparent. And the state definition, which is different than other states, goes like this. An individual who is related to the children by blood, marriage, or adoption, or an individual who is an important friend with whom the child has resided or had significant contact. Again, this is the state definition. We at the county level support that. Folks from the Casey Foundation support that. But there are many issues around it, and it's a judgment call many times on the part of our social workers. That's a conversation all by itself. But what I think this bill will help us do, and what I think, if you give yourself a minute, you can appreciate is, if you are an aunt or an uncle and you become the logical person for this foster placement until hopefully mom and dad can get themselves together to have the kid be reunified, you may not have a great relationship or an enduring relationship with the child. You may live in another suburb and see each other maybe only at a holiday or maybe even less frequently than that. And to contemplate the child moving in with you for a significant period of time is a big thing. I mean, where do they sleep? Do they get along with your kids? Do you not have any children? And all of a sudden you're going to be introduced to a fourth grader who has to get to school and medical appointments and maybe some therapy or all manner of other things. And we talked about the fact that we need to appreciate better what we're asking kin to do. We have an entire licensing program that goes to non-relative foster placements. And I think over time we all have just sort of presumed that family or kin, even if it's an important family friend or individual, will just happily take this on and do so without, it'll be seamless and the kid moves in and they're there for 6 weeks or whatever and it all goes easily, and that certainly is not the case. So we talked at great length today about the fact that we need to step up training. We need to help people apply. If there's going to be a foster placement, then a licensure needs to happen at some point. And what a daunting set of activities that can be. Just we talked about forms and making those more simple and user friendly. So this isn't a lot of money. It's certainly appreciated. We will spend I don't know how many multiples of this as we go about trying to do our reform efforts, but it's important. And it also, I'll just say to those non-Hennepin County representatives here, which is most of you, I was over at an AMC transportation working group 2 nights ago, and we were talking about the need for more transportation funding, not surprisingly, but I just pointed out to them that the idea that we can then take from the general fund, I advertised to them, hey guys, if you haven't gotten into child protection yet, it's coming your way, and get ready because the numbers are big, and they're big in every county, and they're of course biggest in Hennepin. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. And Commissioner, could you just, I do have a member question, but before we get to that, could you just explain why that number, why this particular request? This is the Finance Committee, and I appreciate the background you've given us, but the bill says it's a one-time $75,000 appropriation, and so I know Hennepin has a much bigger budget. This is a huge area. Could you just kind of explain why that number and?
Well, Madam Chair, I would leave that to Representative Noor. So.
Okay, Representative Noor.
Madam Chair, I think this is a bill that came before this committee last session, and the reasoning behind it, there's a model that $75,000 in Anoka County that was used to provide to groups who really helped model a good program. So this is just modeling the program that they did to make sure that it can work for Hennepin County. So this is more of a pilot program that will really help Hennepin County expand on that initiative.
Okay, thank you very much. Representative Munson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you for this bill. This sounds like a really interesting program. And also thank you for the Sambusa, bringing that in. And I would recommend we have like Sambusa Saturdays to attract families to come and learn about the program, because that'd be a good way of doing outreach. My question on the bill has to do with the family incentive options. Actually, I'm sorry, I have 2 questions. The first one is, maybe the commissioner can speak to this. What are the top reasons why families have that they maybe don't, or I'm sorry, start over. What would be the top reasons why foster families or prospective foster families would not qualify? When you have people that are interested, do you see a lot of people that just don't meet the qualifications? And can you just speak just like the top reason why? And then the second one on these financial incentives that we're going to be paying to families to become foster parents, is there current statute that prevents Hennepin County from giving families cash incentives or other things to incentivize them to be foster parents?
Yep.
Commissioner Opeth.
Madam Chair, Representative, I don't know the answer to the last question. We can certainly find out about that. I do know that there are stipends paid to foster parents, and where we've had trouble when we go to permanency is that those don't always travel to the adoptive parents, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So that's something we're working on. And in terms of the difficulties with it, make sure I answer your question now, is we've talked in this committee a lot about there being some remnants in foster care licensing that really don't make a whole lot of sense with, the one we use often is licensing grandma. So if grandma has a misdemeanor that's 50 years old, but she has a criminal record, there have been cases where that bars her perpetually from being a foster parent. And we don't think that, whatever, a disorderly or something, 10 years in the rearview mirror makes a lot of sense if it's either grandma or an unknown family that end up to be the options for the foster placement.
Representative Munson?
Okay. And then can you just speak to the financial incentives that you would be proposing under this program to pay families? Is that Representative Noor? Sorry.
Representative Noor.
Madam Chair, Representative Munson, the incentive is to recruit them so that they can understand. There's a requirement for hours for them to take training, safety training, and so many other things that they have to learn in the process. I don't know if the Commission has got more information about the requirement of how many hours they have to take trainings. So that could be part of the recruiting folks, informing them about, providing them the Sambusa Sunday. So the incentive could be that Sambusa on Saturday, that they can come in and have some good training that will help them become foster parents.
Okay. And just, Madam Chair, just to
Representative
follow
Munson.
up, will there be cash incentives paid to families to be foster parents? Is that in the scope of where it says family incentive options, or it's just not very clear there?
Representative Noor.
Madam Chair, I'm not aware of any cash incentives that will be paid to the families.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, and Mr. Berg, did you want to make a comment?
Madam Chair, just to clarify, as Representative Norris said, we're talking about cash incentives to recruit foster families and kinship families in. The state does run a program, which is called North Star Care, which funds both, makes payments to foster families, kinship assistance, and adoption assistance. That this year is anticipated to spend $77.5 million. It's a forecasted program, but the Representative Noor's bill doesn't change that other than to try to get families to participate in it, which that's where his incentives are, not the payment of the actual rates under the program.
Okay.
Yeah. Representative Loeffler.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, and I've worked on these sort of things in the past, in fact, carried this bill in the past. And, all of our state is dealing with increased diversity, where all of our counties, we've heard, are dealing with the opioid crisis, increased chemical dependency amongst communities, which splits up families, even if it's just temporary while they're in treatment. And the demand for foster placements or temporary placements, sometimes leading to permanent placements, depending on what's going on, has increased. And our ability, though, to convince other people to step up into that really responsible role of being a substitute parent has not really, we haven't paid much attention. And we have an increasingly diverse community. I was told by 4 older senior social workers in Hennepin County that their number one recruitment source for foster parents was stay-at-home moms. They'd go to their churches, and they felt like they had to contribute financially to the family after their kids left the nest, but felt like they were really good parents and they would step up. Another issue that we have is not just getting them to think about it, but it's also what we pay for them. The base rate for foster care, I think, is still $22 a day for 24/7 responsibility, and out of that you have to pay any school field trip fees, anything else that the children need. It's a system that, quite honestly, we haven't paid as much attention to. I would assume that the financial incentives in recruitment are things like bus tokens so that you can get downtown to the training. Or providing childcare for your own children while you're sitting in a training program. Or maybe to have your house licensed, you have to have a fire extinguisher on every floor, and helping someone buy a fire extinguisher when that isn't a typical thing in their very limited family budget. And so it's just all those little things that can create barriers for people stepping up to a major set of responsibilities. And I think this is, if we fund this, it will teach us a path that other counties can use to work more effectively with potential foster families. And I appreciate Representative Noor and Commissioner Hennepin and the Hennepin County Board bringing this forward.
All right, well, thank you, Representative Loeffler. Seeing no further discussion, thank you very much, Representative Noor and Commissioner Opat. The bill is laid over for possible inclusion in the division bill.